I really feel like that's blowing out everybody's speakers at home. If I'm going to re-upload that, I can re-upload that with lower volume, but I can't.
It's crazy. It's like it brings the volume to a level that I didn't know my earbuds could go to, which is good to know.
Oh, Dan Stefan Miku says hello, and Facebook user says, "Wow, this is so professional." Well, thank you, Facebook user.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, Alex even went to the carnival for it.
Yeah. So this screenshot behind me here, which you can only see a fraction of, this is my new green screen. I just thought I'd put a little bit of Brisbane behind me, which is where I'm streaming from. I was going to use a nighttime picture, but I thought, well, it is daytime here. So the show's called Late Night with Tactical Arbitrage, but that's for you guys maybe, but for me it is.
You're so selfless, always thinking about everyone else. Because there it's early morning, and if I were you, I'd be like, screw you guys. We're doing this at 8 p.m. my time, which is what, 9 o'clock here?
10 a.m. there?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got Brisbane on my watch, just so I always know what time it is there.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
Facebook user says, "Hey guys, thanks for being on. If you want your name to show in the on the page as other than just Facebook user, the hot tip is that there should be a link underneath the stream which tells you how to register with StreamYard, and from that point on, you'll have your name come up more like Dan did. Hey Dan, how you doing, mate?"
It's a handsome mustache Dan has.
It is a handsome mustache.
Nice. I like it when the pictures show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's cool. All right, guys. So how are you guys doing?
Got 21 people in so far. It's a good little start. I like this show because it keeps me grounded on what day it is. Like I literally have very little else. I mean, I get fewer emails about support stuff on Saturday and Sunday, so that's like kind of a thing. But I know that Tuesday late night, that's what it's like the pinnacle of my entire existence right now.
And it just confuses me because it's called Tuesday late night with Tactical Arbitrage, but of course it's a Wednesday morning here. So I have no idea what's going on anymore. The days are blending into one another, and the homeschooling is making it insane. Are you guys homeschooling, doing a bit of homeschool action at the moment?
Are you finally going to finish that GED, Alex?
Oh no, I'm a lost hope. Those days are long gone. Tactical Arbitrage is my golden ticket out of here.
Yeah. It's never too late.
Our homeschool had a bomb threat phoned in, but unfortunately we had to. Yeah. Mm. So we found it was baseless.
Yeah.
Is that just so the teacher could maybe get out of classes?
That's possible.
We just this is what a cop out. I got 2 days into homeschooling, and half my day was gone. So I wake up in the morning before anybody else in the house, and I'd turn on the laptops. I'd check the emails to see what the teachers had sent through. I pulled all the stuff up on the screen, printed some stuff out. We got a whiteboard at home. I wrote the stuff on the whiteboard. Then I had to make breakfast, and then the homeschooling started. And Lisa and I are like tag teaming. There's 4 kids in the house, and we're like, okay, so have you been working with this teacher has been requesting this, and this teacher's been requesting this. And the year 1 student was teaching reading, writing, arithmetic, all the R's. And then 2 days into that, and I'm like, Tactical Arbitrage is going to plummet. We're going to get 0 work done, no development. The whole system's going to shut down unless we find some solution here. So I've hired an online person for the morning shift for 4 days a week. So that there's somebody coming in to actually help us with that. We still got to do a lot of the setting up in advance for that, but it's taken a little bit of pressure off. That's for sure.
You just teach the kids customer support or basic coding.
Yeah,
much more realistic, much more applicable job skills.
I keep telling them, and I don't want to poo-poo the fact that they're getting a fantastic education at school, but I keep reminding them that through buying and selling, you can make significantly more money than many professions, and it's such a obviously there's a guy in the house who knows who can give them some advice on that, So, but
I bite my tongue all the time. Try to not like, oh yeah, no, so it's super important that you learn the presidents, the vice presidents, because you'll need that.
You're never going to be able to Google that with the neuro chip in your brain.
Yeah.
I spent so long on trigonometry in high school, and the times that I've used trigonometry since high school has been a goose egg, a big fat zero.
Dude, I spent 7 years in college to get my degree in economics, and it actually, I do have it to thank for my career now because I learned about arbitrage. Literally, like one tiny little like paragraph in an economics assignment, something in a book. I was like, hey, that's pretty cool. And the next thing you know, started selling on Amazon. Still got my degree, which is just keeping holding up my books. I use it as a book stand. But other than that, dude, I mean, $36,000 worth it.
But did you learn how to do a keg stand?
I was already ahead of my class on that, so I was prepared. I took some high level classes in high school that had me prepared for that in college.
Well, guys, let's get into some Facebook news. Obviously, we are all in the coronavirus lockdown, and I won't get into politics, but from Australia, we're kind of glancing over, why are these people standing out protesting against their liberties? Well, I'm not going to get into that, but it's I do sort of wonder how some people think. I can't get into that without it becoming political. So
yeah, it's impossible.
Anyway, we're happy here at home. Extra time with the family and getting some stuff done around the house and staying safe.
Yeah.
You guys?
It's the beauty of online arbitrage, man. I know retail arbitrage, hopefully people, if they were doing a lot of RA, have obviously, even if they didn't want to transition, they kind of had to, but hopefully people aren't doing very much of that. I know the Targets and the Walmarts and stuff are open, but it's just not super safe. Obviously, that's not a popular thing to say, but yeah, man, online arbitrage is where it's at right now. And also there's just so many different things moving around that I think the deals have been actually easier to find lately just because so many things are changing, companies going out of business, products getting, that nobody's buying, they're being tanked, and then stuff that people are buying. There's just a lot of exciting stuff going on. So hopefully people are staying busy with the online arbitrage and staying out of the stores unless they have to be there.
Aaron says he was arbitraging from 6th grade. He bought 100 Tootsie Pops at Sam's Club and he sold them for $0.25 each at school. You hustler, Aaron.
It's a good margins. Oh, what is it?
Oh. Yeah.
Sam's Club rocks. You have Sam's Club in Australia, Alex?
No.
It's like Walmart's drug dealer.
Costco?
We do have Costco. So we're starting to get a few American corporations trickling into Australia. We've got
you can have them.
Taco Bell now, and what's that? What's that? Oh, it's a pretty good.
When are you guys going to get us?
Airports. What's the hamburger? The hamburger chain. No, you've got so many hamburger chains, you'll never pick it again.
Five Guys?
No, it's
Burger King.
It's a big name one.
McDonald's, Wendy's.
We finally got McDonald's. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
No, I forget who it is, but damn it.
In-N-Out?
I wish we had In-N-Out. In-N-Out makes the best burgers. They're so good.
Overrated, dude. We got
I agree.
So overrated.
I think Wendy's is better.
Nothing has been more hyped up. People eat the hype on those burgers.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
Wendy's
is White Castle. You eat
Wendy's
White Castle once every 2 years. You get so sick you don't want to eat it for 2 years, but it's the best.
And you regret it.
Oh yeah, no one's ever finished White Castle and been like, yeah,
that was a good decision.
That was right.
That was a good decision.
Carl's Jr. I just Googled it. That's the name of the Carl's Jr.
Oh, that's not.
Yeah. Oh.
They used to have those real corny like khaki commercials with like
Paris Hilton.
Yeah. They were like They were like tacky before it was cool.
Oh, well, we just got it. So it came into our Brisbane airport. In fact, the other thing that we just got for the first time ever, and they decided to open up one block from our house, is Cinnabon. We never had Cinnabon before. So yeah, Lisa's gone like crazy. Goes, oh my God, because every time we go to Hawaii, she's straight to the Cinnabon. So now we've eaten so much of it that we're not even interested in eating another bite of Cinnabon.
Yeah, that's another one you don't feel good about after you eat it.
Facebook user says, gross. Short and sweet.
That is Marianne Sheckelman? I don't know if the L is. Why do I try to pronounce people's names? Like, why do I do that to myself? Like, I just show that I'm not hooked on phonics.
I don't know.
I'm not cultured. I don't know that's Alex Moose. All right, let's talk about arbitrage, man. Let's get into.
All right, so we've rambled long enough, and
we've got 40 people watching, so that's cool.
40 people watching just on ramble nonsense. Sorry, guys.
Let's be honest. We don't have that much else going on, do we?
No, we do not. Let me share this.
I don't want to speak for everybody. Oh, can I do a product? Can I do a product plug?
Yes. Aren't you the screen yet? What is that?
These are sleep phones. I am not invested in them in any way except for that I'm going to wear them tonight, and I am stoked about it. They are headphones that you wear. Like, you know, when you're trying, like, I always try to like listen to audiobooks, but then like I get like I wake up and my headphones in my cranium. Yeah, it's in the cerebellum, and like, you know, my mood and everything has changed because my brain's been destroyed. But this, you can lay down and listen to the stuff. I'm afraid it's going to make me sweat my ears and eyeballs out, but we'll see. I'm going to test it tonight. So that's our sponsored plug.
See, I tried those REM like light flashing glasses before, but as soon as I lay down with something on my face, just anything sort of touching my face, I was like, that was just a terrible idea. It's never going to work.
I don't like that either. Yeah, it gives me a headache. I tried it before. I wake up like it's too dark.
Let me share the screen and we will talk all the news that's fit to print in the world of Amazon. Okay.
How's everybody doing out there, by the way? We didn't really ask the viewers how they're doing.
Okay, so COVID-19. Update on products eligible for shipment creation. This was a couple of days ago from the big guys upstairs. Beginning April 18th, 2020, more products are eligible for shipment creation. And this is understandable. Amazon is unexpectedly, I guess, or expectedly, they're living their best life. Bezos is having some of his best months, month on month, day on day that he's had forever. I know personally, we've been ordering almost daily something from Amazon into the house, whether it's some craft for the girls to do, whether it's some essential supplies like grocery items, or we've got boxes just turning up around the clock. And at some point, they can't restrict FBA sellers from putting products in there because they need products. Now, you've heard on the news that hundreds of Amazon workers to walk off jobs starting Tuesday. I wouldn't really be too concerned about this because we're talking about 300 Amazon employees. So is this out of the 75 or 750,000 employees? It's like 0.05% of employees. I think Amazon's going to survive. There's a
terrible turnover.
There's a lot of people out there looking for work right now, so I'm pretty sure if 300 people, even if they have valid complaints, wave their hands in the air and say, we quit.
You just expect more people than that to quit anyway. Like, I know on Friday in Georgia, they're opening like a bunch of gyms. And I've talked to a few people personally that are like, yeah, I'm quitting because I'm not going to go back. I'm not ready to go back to work yet. I don't feel safe. So 300 people is not, I'm sure they don't count the other people that have quit because of this, but that's not that bad.
I can't see it impacting anything. It would take a mass coronavirus breakout in several warehouses, I think, at this point for there to be any serious impact. And hopefully they are doing their best to mitigate that situation.
I was talking to someone whose family has started working at a warehouse, and if you get the right shift, you can make $40 an hour as a new hire. $40 an hour, plus you get benefits from day one. So I mean, it's kind of they expect a lot out of you, but I mean, for $40 an hour plus benefits, it seems like it's not in your best interest to walk off the job.
No, absolutely not.
And even if they do, that doesn't seem like a hard spot to fill. $40 an hour.
Christine,
can't be good for jobs around. Christine says, I'm so excited. Current situation has pushed me into hiring my first VA. Oh, nice. I can't manage by myself with a 5 and 6-year-old homeschooling, managing the house, etc. while hubby still works. Yeah, that's hard. So we took a jump and made the hire this week. Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. I've been like all about the VAs lately since my new project, Outsource School, took off.
Cool. With you and Nathan Hirsch as well?
Nathan Hirsch and a guy named Connor Gelvin, super smart guys. They bought and sold, or not bought, they made Free Up and then they sold it. And after they sold it, they had a bunch of time to take on new projects. So they're teaching outsourcing and hiring VAs. And it's been really cool. We've hired a few VAs to actually help run that business, the business of teaching the business. So it's been cool. VAs are a game changer.
Awesome. Yeah, 100%. And we often think about ways we can sort of add additional layers of protection into tactical arbitrage against, I don't want to scare people, but there's the occasional rogue VA who comes along. And so that's why we've password protected settings pages and the new view inventory page. We've put password protections in there because there might be some things you don't want your VAs to see, but you'd want them to have carte blanche to run tactical arbitrage in all the other areas unrestricted. So so is it what's the name of that virtual assistant course again, Nate?
Outsourceschool.com.
All right, cool. I haven't had a deep dive into that yet. I'll check that out after this. That's good.
Yeah, I'll get you access into it. It's not a cheap program, but it is very, very well done. And I say that I'm biased, but we're very proud of it. It's a good course.
If you prepared content for it, I'm sure it is gold class, my friend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you recommend any specific tasks for VAs in online arbitrage? Yeah, definitely. So we talked about this last week, and if you're on our mailing list, we did send a pretty cool discount of 40% off. Giving a VA, and we recommend hiring a VA from scratch because there's a unique thing that happens. It's just kind of a different environment. So when you hire a VA that has past experience, you run into the risk of them double dipping because they can give the leads to somebody else. And we had a problem with that like 4 years ago, maybe. We had a sourcing group, and we found out that the VA that we had was also giving leads, the same leads. She was working for us full time, 40 hours a week. So we were like, oh, she couldn't be double dipping, but she was just giving those leads to another group. And the other group owner, we crossed our lists together. We're like, gosh darn it. So we found out it was the same person. So it's really just better to have someone from scratch. And we recommend, me and Chris do, is to just have, if you own the Tactical Academy course, have them take that, have them just give them a basic understanding of arbitrage, but then have them go through the course, and that will show them the mechanics of tactical arbitrage. But there's a lot of things you can outsource. I mean, you can outsource the whole thing to them, or I know a lot of people aren't comfortable outsourcing the buying. I see it as if somebody's worth hiring, they're worth trusting with a credit card. That's on everybody else who has their own opinions of it. I don't hire people that I wouldn't trust with a credit card. So you can do that, or you can just have them do stuff like we showed last week, where we showed how to build those massive ASIN lists, stuff that you don't want to do that's monotonous. So it doesn't have to be a full-time person. You could be a part-time person just doing a couple of things, running the view inventory for you once a month, or something. There's a million things you could have them do, but they're awesome for online arbitrage. It's really, really a opportune place for VAs.
I think I was in that original group that you had with.
That's how we met. Yeah, that's how
I
we
remember
met.
that VA, and that VA, I was thinking, why is she doing this? I'm going to have to go and make my own sourcing tool.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm
For
glad.
some reason, you let me know about it, even though I had done nothing to gain your trust yet. Except for run a bad group. There's a lot of good groups out there. They're hard to manage, man. Like they are hard to manage. It's hard to police them because you don't know who's going to get the leads. So that's one of the reasons why we kind of always recommend people get their own. If you're into a sourcing group, we recommend you still get your own too. Did the guy drinking a Michelob Ultra last episode talk smack about In-N-Out? Okay, thank you for a new episode. Welcome back. Love my first week using TA. Nice. Yeah, I actually, I don't love In-N-Out burger. It's not bad. It's just not good. like it gets so much hype. And Michelob Ultra is just a tasty light beer.
Terrible.
I'm not going to defend it.
We are not sponsored by Michelob Ultra and never will be.
Sometimes I take it up a notch and I get the Michelob Ultra Golden Organic one, which is like, I'm embarrassed. The guy's like, can I see your card? I try to give him like my ID, and he goes, "No, your man card."
Did you wilt a little bit on the inside?
So it goes straight to my hips if I drink the full Michelob Ultra.
Hey, so guys, one thing that I did is I chucked it out there on the Facebook group. There's a couple of small giveaways. Well, they're not small. There's for the best question today in the thread that I floated. There was going to be a 20% off recurring off a membership of TA, which is not insignificant. And for a couple of runner-up questions, there'll be 10% off. Alternatively, there's a couple of Amazon gift cards in there. But if you want to throw any of those questions at us, I can't really see them here.
Did we have any good ones that were already asked?
I can read some off. There's a couple good ones.
Chris Anderson wants to know where babies come from. I'll let one of you handle that.
All right. So have you seen the movie Storks?
Yep. All right. That's enough for that one. Someone else wants to know what the meaning of life is.
42.
There you go. Next question. I can't leave the video live. Or you guys can ask them right here if you want.
Got any questions, Chris? Can you see them?
Yeah, I can see them. One of the questions that this is an easy one. Is there ever going to be a tactical arbitrage phone app?
You know what? This is actually a more complicated question than, and I'll try not to ramble because I do digress a lot. But so for billing, it becomes quite complicated. So do you charge for the application? You've got to create and manage applications, not for multiple devices. So you've got to create and manage applications for the phone, for an iPad, for a mini iPad. They need to, adjust responsively to each of those. You've also got, of course, your Android devices as well. Then you've got to work out sort of billing and attaching those applications in a way that might integrate seamlessly with whether you do or do not already have a active tactical arbitrage account. And so it's not about whether or not it's doable. We've had plenty of conversations with developers as to how we could architecturally create this scenario. But it became pretty apparent to me recently that as long as we make the web application like ultra responsive, which means that it will work dynamically to any screen size, then it's simply a matter of just logging in on the device that you are on, and then using tactical arbitrage in its responsively adjusted resolution. So we spent a lot of time, and I did show that in the last late night with tactical arbitrage. We spent a lot of time making a new version of TA, which is not launched yet, but I know we're in the final couple of weeks because we did a round of testing on basically a complete migration of it, over the last couple of days. And I'm very happy with how it's working on a responsive way. There would be some advantages to a mobile application. For example, walking into a store and scanning a barcode using your phone's camera would be one advantage to having a mobile application. However, even if we are looking to bring in mobile applications in the future, for now, just making TA completely responsive on all devices is going to be a fantastic start. The hardest bit's going to be just logging in with your username and password. After that, you should be able to use TA on your phone, iPad, whatever device, as per using it on the internet right now. So, so I think that'll be a good first step. And if we still find there's some shortcomings with that, we can look. We'll look into the applications, and it's been on the job list for a while as a potential. So, yeah. Nice. Like I said, not a short answer. Good question.
And so here's one thing that I know a lot of people who do RA, outside of, when we're on lockdown, will not do. But I have known people to do retail arbitrage with an iPad or even a laptop in their cart. And you might get a weird look or two, but if like you really wanted to use TA, you could take a Chromebook into a store and you might get one question at every 50 stores about what you're doing with a laptop in your cart.
Unless you load the entire shopping cart up with toilet paper, hand sanitizer.
Exactly.
N95 masks.
Oliver is curious how you became such a handsome man.
This one's for you, Nate.
Oh, yeah. So it's, there's a big, I could talk about this for a long time. There's a nature and then there's nurture. So like my own nurturing of my skin, my moisturizers, my creams. And then there's just the genetics. So, I don't want to take everyone's time. So Alex, do you have something a little bit more quick to answer to that?
I feel like that question's sort of fishing to win the prize. So
yeah, it's good. It's the current leader.
I certainly appreciate that you recognize all of us as very handsome men, and we'll consider that in the.
I need that today. I had a rough one. A couple of mean customer support emails and a couple of things. I needed that, so thank you. That was probably from Alex, but
Jeff has a good one, and it's
I'll come back to that one.
For a newer user, it can seem daunting. So what would be your advice out of the box, just getting started, to get the most out of TA in the quickest amount of time possible?
Okay, so here's what I would do. Can you see my page here? Yes, you can. Mm-hmm. Things load up. Okay, the very first thing you should do is go into your settings and insert your MWS keys, and you should have a professional Amazon seller account. That is step one, and it is essential. You kind of have to do that because it'll make the software work as it should. Sometimes people sign up and they try and sort of run it without entering in any settings or anything, and then they say, how come it's not doing what I want it to do? So that's step one. Step two, ignore every single menu setting except where you want to start. So let's say you wanted to start in product search, just focus on that. So for your first couple of days or whatever, while you find your feet, ignore reverse search, wholesale search. You can open them and have a look, but really just focus on the one page that you want to sort of drill into. Everything's a bundle. Product search and view data are kind of hand in hand. So they're the two you want to look at. Everything else is concatenated. So reverse search and view reverse are under the reverse search button. Wholesale and view wholesale are under there. But product search and view data are both out there in the open because these are our flagship products. So assuming that it's online arbitrage that you wanted to get stuck into, you won't see it as advanced straight away. You'll see the basic version. For me, it's a little bit too basic, but it really is as simple as just saying, let's say Target and toys. I'm going to have to say, I say it every time, I don't recommend you just scan Target toys. It's obviously where people funnel into when they first start out. and it's where you'll find the most saturation. When there's so many pages to look at, you want to branch out as soon as you can into as many others as you can. So start with something like simple, just so that you can understand how a search works. I just went into this category select and chose toys and closed it. And then you can name the search and go my first search. And then you can just hit search. And straight away,
Chris Wilkie made a great, I don't know if you guys know Chris Wilkie. He made a great, like, getting your first week of TA thing on his blog. If you guys find that, check that out too. Sorry to interrupt, Alex, but yeah, he's got a cool little setup made on his website. You get nichepursuits.com if you want to check that out.
Chris is good. He writes a lot of my blog posts, actually. When he doesn't write them, he'll edit them before they go live. And at the moment, he's going into. So you see in this help menu here, we've got a bunch of different articles. It's kind of like we got halfway through these articles, and then other things like coronaviruses and things kind of distracted us away from completing this task. So Chris Wilkie has jumped in here now, and he's actually going and filling in all the gaps everywhere where there is an unfinished instruction document. This is essentially the text version of the videos that you'll find on the. Oh, I can't see the videos for some reason. I wonder if that's because we're sharing a screen, but normally there's a little tab on the side here that says the video documentation. Oh, there we go, video guide. It's probably because we're sharing screens, it's acting a little janky there. But if you wanted to find out a bit more about product search, you can jump on in and see a bit more of it here. But this is all being sort of redone so that all the instructions in here as well. So in answer to your question, so that's the basic way of doing it. There's also the advanced way of doing it, which is what I prefer. It does look a bit daunting as well, but it really is the same kind of procedure. So we'll go to a new page and we'll select target again. Target. And categories, you can either enter a category yourself that you've gone over to target and you've selected from any of the categories. You can jump on into, say, lawn games and cornhole beanbag toss category. You can just grab the category. Target's a bit different in that you need to grab this number in the URL. You can actually go into category example to get an explanation of what to get for each URL. But if you wanted to go easier, we're using Javier San Juan from Tactical Bucket's Easy Bulk solution, which is plugged right into Tactical Arbitrage at no additional cost. Thank you, Javier. And you pop on down to toys to do the same thing, and you would add that to bulk. Bulk category selected, 153 of 500. Oh, I might want to add more then. I might add video games as well. Let's add that to bulk. And we might also add baby stuff as well. So we've got a lot of categories in there for research. We'll come on down here. I would always add my source price reductions. I think it's a critically important filter to add. So you can either do that automatically because we have plugged in Christopher Grant's perfect tool Rev ROI, which allows you to automatically extract cashback and gift card figures. And you can always pop over to their sites and confirm there is a gift card over at Gift Card Spread, or Coupon Cactus is offering 0.5%, for example. And once you've plugged in those details, then you'll pop down to the next one, and you can just leave ranks as per settings. I'll remove out of stock products. You don't need to put much more in there. You don't need to overcomplicate any of this. Better to leave the filters very loose, and then later, if you're finding that you're getting too many low review items, like items with like a 1.5 review, then you would want to come in here and say, okay, well, I've decided that I really don't want products with a review count of under 3. So then you would add that in there. But I like to leave this really loose. We have to have all the filters there because everybody's flow is different. But me personally, the more I've used tactical arbitrage over the years, the less I've used the filters. One thing I do want to see though is a profit. I keep the profit really low, just anything over 1%. And why do I keep it that low? Because you might find something which has got like a 2% return on investment, but then when you take it into deeper analysis, you might find there's just one FBA seller who's in the way, or one merchant fulfilled seller who's in the way with just 2 items, and then it jumps up, say, $6 to the next seller. And so in that case, I want to see stuff with any profit so I can then gauge to see if there's actually more profit available once I drill into it deeper. That might sound more complicated than it is, but we can certainly get into that more if anybody wants to sort of see how that might look in a search. It's probably wise as well if you're going to add some extra filters to put in some costs and fees. Your costs to prep might be pretty low if you're doing everything from home at the moment, but if you're using a prep and ship house, you might end up incurring, say, $1 or something per product. So in that case, you want to put that in there. Often I find that if you're prepping it yourself, you might be incurring a state sales tax, depending on where you live. And if you're prepping it at a prep and ship house, you might be able to avoid this state sales tax, depending on where you cleverly select your prep house. So let's say you pick somewhere in Oregon, for example, where it's a 0% sales tax state. If you're using a prep and ship house over there, then that might offset a little bit of your efforts and work and hands-on time to utilize somebody over there, and you'll offset that with their cost to ship a standard, the cost to prepare a standard product for Amazon, which might be $1.25 or something. And then, of course, there's the cost to ship a box to Amazon. And because this changes a lot, it's an approximation, and it's a per pound approximation. And I find somewhere around the 75-cent mark per pound is in many cases around about the right figure to go for. Some people, when they're using a prep house, they may also want to say remove out of stock products. Not out of stock products, oversized products. I still keep out of stock products because there's ways in tactical arbitrage to track items when they come back into stock. So something that might look like it's very profitable, if you track it so that, like, it might be out of stock, but if you track it to get an alert when it comes back into stock, then it's going to be worthwhile down the track. One thing that you will not be seeing on your tactical arbitrage yet, and I'll just draw attention to it while I see it. It's a new feature that's only being shown for administrators at the moment until we've completed it, but it's a shipment events alert. So this will go red when you've got a new shipment event alert. And this is a really cool feature. It ties in with the just unlocked view inventory feature. So if you've got 23 Barbie dolls on the shelf and you've just made a sale, you'll see this go to you have an alert. And this will also be an alert if a shipment changes conditions at Amazon as well. So if you've got a shipment that's going into Amazon and you're waiting for that to become into received status at Amazon, you'll get an alert as well. And so it'll be nice to pop in there and see these little red alarm bells going off as you're working to say, okay, you've made a sale, or okay, your shipment's just been received. And it gives you that extra little bit of connection with your Seller Central account without you having to always log into Seller Central and see, have I made a sale, or has my packages been received yet, etc. So this is brand spanking new. We almost released it last night, but I noticed we were tracking a few too many things, and I also wanted to add a tiny little sound effect when you get a new alert. So it'll be just a little bit of a jingly bell, nothing too in your face, just to make you look up and check that. So that's a new feature.
Nothing like Pavlonian's going to happen, like if I'm eating when it goes off.
Yeah. If I hear a little tinkle on the screen and I'm eating in the next room, chances are I'm going to get up and come in and have a look to see, did I sell something? Woohoo! That's cool. It was that or the sound of a cash register, but you know, I didn't want to like make it too tacky.
Khakis in, dude.
So that's all you got to do to run a search. The basic version of that is a little bit more turnkey. You just select a site and a category and hit go. It's just going to automatically tell you if you find anything with a positive ROI. But essentially, the features that I filled in them were store price reductions, prepping and shipping, gross ROI over 1%, and a rank filter. If you go over to basic, you'll notice the ones that we give you here are site discounts, prepping and shipping, selecting a category, and it'll automatically return products that are with a positive ROI. Now, one thing that is not on the basic page yet, that is on the advanced page, and we'll probably bring it across to the basic page, is this automatic selection of cashback, like coupon cactus type, or you know, Ebates is a popular one. Oh, it's not opening for me because I'm in Australia, so it does happen sometimes with some of these cashback sites. If I put my VPN on, it would show that. But we could do another webinar sometime on this particular feature alone. This store price reductions, cashback, store discount, cashback, and gift card. It's such an important feature that I feel like if there's any misunderstanding on just how to operate that feature alone, we could spend half an hour on just that. So I'm going to pop back into questions because that one question was quite a lot.
It was a big question, though. It's important.
Yeah. Let's see here. What's the first thing you look at when making a buying decision?
Okay, so the first thing that I look at when making a buying decision is match quality. Now, the match quality would consist of multiple things. So let me just duck across to the view data page and try and find some examples of this. I don't know what scans have been run recently, because sometimes my administrators go in and run scans to check if sites are working properly, etc. This is probably from the target scan we ran earlier. So first thing I want to do is make sure this is the exact same product. There's a few different things that I would look for. First of all is visually, does it look the same? I might want to rotate through the other images that are at Amazon just to make sure. Oh, it looks like they've got multiple of the same image. There we go. Okay, I can see as well the UPCs are matching. That's a fantastic sign. As long as we've got two matching universal product codes, then we're looking very much like it's going to be the same. I might open up the titles as well, and this all takes a few seconds. I just want to quickly make sure that we're looking at the same product, okay? Because then I can be comfortable that we can go into it further. Then I'm going to want to check the restrictions. I would recommend, if you don't have it installed, to install the Tactical Arbitrage Restrictions Detective. If you don't, then it'll pop up in here and tell you straight away. So it says, good news, your account has no obvious restrictions on selling this item. So one of the good things about that is, A, it means that I'm ungated for toys and for this particular product. One thing that this is not telling me is whether or not the COVID-19 restrictions are currently restricting me. So, so far so good. Next, I want to check and sort of see what the sales velocity on this is. So I'm going to look at the history chart and see whether or not I'm looking at many sales. Now, it doesn't appear that we are looking at a lot of sales. It is a particularly high-ranked product. We're looking at ranks as high as 3 million, but for some reason, we are seeing about, a sale a month. Based on that alone, I probably would skip to the next product, but let's assume that you're seeing more sales here so that we can drill into this product a little more deeply. Here's something I like to see. The buy box is being currently held by a merchant fulfilled seller. Now, traditionally, and I would go ahead and say, I'm just going to shove that comment on the screen there. I just came in to hear Alex's accent.
That's Travis.
Who is it?
That's Travis.
G'day, Travis. How are you, mate?
G'day, Travis.
So traditionally, merchant fulfilled seller has holding the buy box would be great. As FBA sellers, we would know that we can price a little higher than these guys and take the buy box right away from them. So it might be $1 more. It's usually a kind of a sliding scale on the price of the item. You could sort of estimate a bit of a percentage. You could say go like $1 higher on a $15 product quite safely. Maybe a few dollars higher on a $50 or $60 product. The thing is that at the moment with the COVID-19 restrictions, Amazon seems to have closed the gap a little bit between merchant fulfilled buy box gifting and FBA buy box gifting, and I wouldn't say they're favoring merchant fulfilled, but they're certainly rotating merchant fulfilled in at a similar price to FBA. Would you say that this is an accurate thing, Chris?
Yeah, easily. I've been matching FBA prices and I've been getting a fair share of the buy box as a merchant fulfilled seller on some items.
Okay, that's cool. So I don't know how long that will last. I imagine that as they allow more and more release more and more FBA restrictions, which is happening, and I've noticed that people are panicking less and they're getting more stuff in. You'll be able to take more advantage of the fact that there's a merchant fulfilled seller that's holding the buy box. But that would be one thing that I would look for. If I see a merchant fulfilled seller there, I'm normally a bit happier, get a little burst of dopamine because I know I can increase my buy box a bit over them and get another sneaky dollar out of the sale. And of course, that affects my gross return on investment overall. Another thing that I would look at is I would jump into this tactical edge. Now, this goes back to what I was saying before about looking for any products that are higher than a 1% ROI. And the reason being is that this merchant fulfilled seller at $15.99 has only got one item in stock. So he's going to sell his. Actually, the sales velocity on this isn't very fast. You have to take that into account. He's not selling very fast, but let's say this was a fast-moving item, then his singular item in stock is not going to remain in the way. At that price, $15.99, is not going to be in the way of us for very long. The $16.24 item only has 2 in stock, so those might have sold very quickly as well. And then we're looking at, say, pricing at $17.28. He's merchant fulfilled as well, so we could look at pricing above him as well at, say, $18.50. Even though he's got 154 in stock, we'll probably get the buy box. And then we're starting to see a better return on investment again by going down that path. So those are the sorts of things that I would look at when making a decision. So something that I might have initially glanced at and said, oh, there's no way I'm sending in one of those. There's just not enough margin in it. By the time I've gone through those spot checks, I might end up buying 4 or 5 of those to shoot into to flip. And one by one, I'll go down, similar sort of thing. I'm going to check, is it the same product? I'll be checking my restrictions on the product. I'll be looking at the ROI. I've been lucky so far. I'm getting no restrictions on these items. If you're just starting out, you might find that more stuff's gated for you, and that can be frustrating. But there's plenty of ungating solutions, services, and processes that you can go through so that before too long a time, you can be ungated too. And it's worth going through those because why should you be stuck in the busiest part of the swimming pool when with just a little bit of effort you can be out there getting all sorts of categories unrestricted for you to start sourcing from.
Okay, once an account.
So go ahead.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I notice people don't do enough is once an account becomes a little bit seasoned and you've got some sales under your belt, it's surprising how many categories or subcategories or brands will auto ungate for you. I would say that for myself, I would say that 7 out of 10 products that I'm restricted in, I get ungated in automatically.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And do you have to do anything to become ungated, or is it a matter of
just requesting?
Okay. And you see, if you are restricted on an item, it's normally a button here saying request approval. We got lucky there. So you need approval to sell in this, to list in this brand. And so I could just go ahead and hit request approval, and I might find the next time I go to look at this product that I'm no longer restricted.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a good tip from Chris. Awesome, guys. Is there any other questions there?
Yeah. There's quite a few. Beyond being too restrictive on using filters, what do you think the single biggest mistake that users make using TA is?
Ooh. I used to say that I thought the problem was that people expected tactical arbitrage just to be this magic bullet where they could just load the software up and there would be deals sitting there for them. But we actually just added that feature. So there actually is now a page that you can just load up and there's deals just sitting there for you to start analyzing. But it is a problem expecting everything to just be done for you. It is a tool. This is not the sort of tool you need a university degree, 5 years in college to come out the other side having learned. It is worthwhile to examine the help documents, the videos, and it is a miniature expense to jump into something like Tactical Academy, which is Chris and Nate's third-party product. But that Tactical Academy, a lot of my training is all instruction stuff. It's fairly turnkey. It's like if you were to buy a General Electric washing machine, you'll get it and it'll say, here's the operation on this button. Here's the operation. It's fairly dry. I like Chris and Nate's Tactical Academy because it pretty much says it's not just what to do, it's how to profit. And it gives you all of the cool tips and tricks of how to find the edge when using tactical arbitrage. So I think once you've got your feet and you've made a decision, a mental decision, you know what, I'm going to stick with this. I'm going to stick with this because long term, I know that this is going to make my family some decent dollars, and it's something that I can stick with, especially while you're locked in a house. I mean, what better thing to do than to make money from home? That's when I would say I might look at the Tactical Academy. Because I don't think it's much. It's a few $100 or something. How much is Tactical Academy?
With the discount we have right now, it's like
$248, $249 maybe.
You've got a discount going on at the moment.
Yeah, 40%. I can grab the link if you have it.
All right. Well, yeah. So if you do decide to jump into Tactical Academy at some point, then whether it's later or whether it's now to take advantage of the 40% off discount, then that's another fantastic kind of training tool that would go hand in hand with TA. I do recommend you stick with TA. It's just that, put it this way, we have two types of customers. We have members that stick around like family, and we have had members for years, and even when the coronavirus impact happened, they're like, you know what, I've been in Amazon long enough to know you just roll with the punches. There's always something you got to adjust. This week I'm doing more motion fulfilled than for FBA. This week there's some more brand restrictions, so I've got to submit some more documents. This week there's always something. Obviously this particular coronavirus thing is unprecedented, but everything prior to this, which was just a change in Amazon policies, they were unprecedented too. And we have people that have been with TA for years, and then we've got people who come in to just try and learn everything in the space of the trial period, whether that's 7 days or 10 days if you've used a code like ER10 or clear the shelf. Either of those will give you 10 days trial instead of 7. So there's people who come in, they try and get every little piece of information they can within 7 days, and they forget that if you were to go to college, you'll be spending tens of thousands of dollars on an education, and you may or may not come out the other side of that with some kind of income. Whereas by investing in a couple of tools and using them intelligently and like taking a bit of time to actually learn them for a month or two, you might send some stuff into Amazon and you might like break even the first time, but you've learned 10 things. And then on the next cycle, you send that stuff in with what you know, and you find out that this time I've made a small profit. And then the next time you make significant profit. And then from there, you can start leveraging that and scaling up, especially with the use of virtual assistants and freeing up your time for other areas and stuff. And the longer you stick with it, the more people that have gone through cycles of sending in products to Amazon, the more people who've actually done multiple shipments, they find that they are so far ahead of the curve. It's probably not wise to start tactical arbitrage if you're already in a position of desperation, as in you are in a very difficult position financially at home, that you're using your last $100 hoping that this is a magic bullet. You don't have any money for stock. That's kind of a harsh truth. But if you do have a little bit of capital, then one thing I would suggest is you go wide instead of deep. Don't buy 25 of one product. Buy 2 of this, 2 of that, 1 of this, 1 of that, and put in the extra hours to list all of those. And then down the road, you look at wholesalers, for example. Wholesalers might only have like 6 or 7 products that they do on rotation, and they'll be sending in like 1,000 units and 1,000 units. So same with private label guys. But if you're starting out and you're in online arbitrage, just go wide, put in the extra hours to start with, tread cautiously, learn your lessons along the way, and after a couple of months, you'll say, you know what, I got this, I can do this. So that was a good question. It's probably not the answer that you were like thinking. You probably thought I was going to talk about a setting in tactical arbitrage, but that's kind of where I feel like most people fall down, is not actually sticking with it long enough to see any real change in their life.
Yeah, I feel like the question could really be broken down into 2 parts. It seems kind of like a cop-out, but the biggest mistake is people see it and they're overwhelmed by it, and then they just kind of write it off and they don't take use of their trial. It's not cheap software, so unless you're going to use it, it's hard to justify that. The big mistake is I think there's a lot of people that have tried it that are missing out on if they had just given it the effort it requires. So if you're in that trial, definitely find some leads, make some money with it during the trial. If you cancel, you cancel, but give yourself that chance to try it, because it is overwhelming. But like with anything that's worth doing, if you put in the work, you at least have a better idea of if it's right for you or not. So yeah, that's the one group. Then the other group of people is people that have been longtime users, and their biggest issue. I mean, that you could break it down to a bunch of different things. Alex, couldn't you? Maybe not diversifying, not going, not trying new stores, and always be scanning has kind of made it so that software is always trying to solve the problems that people have before they maybe even know they have them. And one of those is not going far enough into the searches and not trying different types of searches, going to new stores, not running the software enough, not running it while you sleep, stuff like that. But yeah, that's a great question.
That's a good question. And I'm going to give that question the 20% off tactical arbitrage for the life of their membership. Please.
Let me write down their name. Make sure I don't forget who it was.
Now, I know we didn't hear all of the questions today. If there's any other real gems in there you want to throw out as one last one before, because we try to keep these shows to an hour, mainly because we're juggling homeschooling, as a lot of people who are watching this are. And also because we want to make them bite-sized enough that if you visit YouTube down the road and you decide, hey, I might watch an episode of Late Night with TA, you don't see a 1 hour, 53-minute Lord of the Rings special that you don't really want to troll through. So
that was Aaron Dickinson who asked that question.
He's been a user for a while. He probably he probably has a cheap account from some deal in the past.
Oh, well, it'll just become even cheaper for you, Aaron. Well done, mate. And I'll have a look at the I'm going to have a look at some of the comments that have been made in the Facebook group and select a couple to win the runner-up prizes. There was another one that was asked earlier, and I want to say that for one of the runner-up prizes, which was in relation to, and I don't think it was asked in the Facebook group, it asked in here. how to get started, basically. I can't find it. Can you guys see it there?
Let me take a look here.
I can dig it out after the show anyway, and I'll message you. I'll message you about that. I'm just scrolling through a couple of the ones that have come up in the Facebook chat. We've got any plans to make Rev ROI work in Canada? That's a good question. So that Rev ROI feature is working for the US at the moment. So what I would suggest you could do is, if you've got a list of any of the cashback sites like Ebates Canada, for example, that you can shoot me through a list of those, and I'll get my guys on integrating that for Canada as well. And I'm going to make myself a note here. So Rev ROI other countries. So that's a user.
Oh no!
Uh-oh. What happened, Alex?
Lost him. Hello, my baby. I'm walking off. Yeah. All right. Put right into the spotlight here.
Right.
There was a question I wanted to answer that. Oh, here's back.
There we go.
You go ahead.
Somebody, Christine had asked, and I forget, I don't remember where you were in your answer, but she asked if we use LastPass with VAs. I do, but I don't recommend LastPass really actively, just because a couple of people have been saying it has security issues, and I've got so many accounts and so many different things that I am okay with taking the risk myself. But I like LastPass. I can't speak to whether it's super secure or not. Somebody told me that it's pretty easy to hack. I don't know if there's truth to that, but that's all I can really say about it, is that I use it. Do you guys use it?
I use LastPass all the time.
I mean, it saves me so much time. And now if there's a hacker watching, he knows that I have it. But yeah, I now give it to VA, and you get to a VA, they're not supposed to be able to see the password, which is cool. So that way, if you have a high turnover before you hire, you can withdraw their access without them having seen it. So that's kind of cool, especially with banking information and stuff like that.
I'm seeing multiple messages about the inventory feature, which, I mean, admittedly, it's a brand spanking new feature. It was only rolled out a couple of days ago publicly, so the people are going to have questions about that. We've got one here from Dan Stefan saying, what would be the best way of using the inventory feature? We have another one here from Dennis Butler saying, what is the best way to track items to reorder with the new inventory feature? We have another one from, Aaron's asked the same thing. So basically, if I jump on into the, here we are. I'm going to go share the screen again. I lost it when I hit the button before. I'm technically incompetent. Someone's going to take their new soundbite now. I'm going to play that. I'll loop that forever.
Yeah, I am, right.
You can't escape anything on the internet. All right.
At least you didn't accidentally wear a green shirt like the Queen. That was so great. I like the Tiger King one was the best.
Okay, cool. So the view inventory page is brand new. I'm sure I'm going to hear a lot of really creative ways from the community on how they are using it. Obviously, so my page isn't the best page to be looking at, and I mainly because everything I have is out of stock in Amazon US right now, and we've gone into reasons why that is. But essentially, this unit's available for sale here. If that's a positive number, that's going to be, this row is going to be white for you. It's going to be telling you sort of what you do have and don't have in stock. That's going to be a good place for you to see how many you've got available for sale versus how many shipped and the date that it was shipped. It's not too weird a thought to consider that the next iteration of this is going to start sort of, combining a few data points to say, it might be wise for you to sort of send in some more stock still, because you sent 17 of these units in 3 weeks ago, and now you've got 2 units left or 5 units left, etc. At the current pace that you're selling these, pretty soon you're going to need to sell in more. So there is not currently any restock notifications built into this yet. This is essentially what you could consider a version 1.0. The latest shipment events button will be version 1.1 of this. But things like restock notifications and stuff, it makes sense that those kind of things will be included down the road. In the meantime, I would suggest you familiarize yourself with how this looks. One thing that you can do is, let's say you dig up a old shipment. If I go way back when to 2015, I can have a look at this stuff here. I can actually update the data for this page. By default, if it's grayed out already, it's not going to have some of this stuff here, like the current buy box price, average prices, etc. You will be able to see some things like the history graph, however, so you'll be able to get an indication of whether or not this is an item that is still kind of on the shelf. So one thing that you may also want to do is reverse search these products. So this might be something that you haven't actually had a look at in a very long time. It might be a year old, but why not run a reverse search on this page and find out if some of this stuff is available again? You can, of course, save these items, and you can, of course, add those saved items to tracking tools if you find that there's some stuff there that's out of stock and you want it to track. There's a lot of different ways that you can use these pages, it goes beyond just the at-a-glance information you can see here. I recommend, however, you would utilize a regular view data page or an always be scanning page is a good way to look at the view inventory button. Is there any sort of immediate additional tricks or tips that come to mind with that, Chris? It's certainly got a lot of potential, this page. We just wanted to get that base data in there first so people can see this information, and then we're trying to make it more interactive in the coming iterations, in addition to what's already happening in there.
I haven't spent enough time in there yet to figure out some ninja hacks, but I'll get in there this week and get my brain spinning a little bit.
Cool. I'm sure that between now and our next late night with Tactical Arbitrage, we will be able to put together a few ideas for sharing in there, in addition to what we've already discussed. Facebook user says, thanks for wearing a shirt for this show, Nate. I think everybody's seen your amazing 47 days with no beer. Is that right?
No, I went about 42 days without beer. And then I started drinking at the last show. So it's been like 40 days. But other than that, just, eating right, doing the gym workout. I just get so bored. Like if I don't kill like an hour of the day doing P90X, it's just, the day goes on, drags on.
Nice. I can't imagine doing P90X with a house full of kids. Do they have to like stand back?
No, I do it here in this tiny little room here. And the house is really like long, and they're downstairs. I've got a good amount of time. If they're coming up, I can hear them from like a couple minutes.
Facebook user says, do you have any lifetime membership costs? No, but we do have annual. Annual it's a pretty deep discount as it is. It's something, I think it's 24% off approximately. So over the course of say a 12-month multiplication, but with the current coronavirus impact, we are giving an additional 15% off annual tiers with code late night, and that is still active. It's active until the end of the month, and you stack that on top of the 24% that you're already getting off the full priced annual membership, and it is a pretty deep discount. The good thing about that is it's recurring. So coronavirus finishes and it's 2021, and then your next bill comes along and it's like, wow, I'm still saving money from that one recurring coupon that I used a year ago. So we've had a few people sign up using that at the moment. We're also doing buy one, get one for the first 2 months. So let's say you're brand new This is a no trial membership. So basically you pay for a month up front and you'll get given 60 days straight away for that. And then it goes into regular billing after that. That's using code ERBOGO. Or if you just want to get in with a 14-day trial, it's CTS 14 on that. So that's the options there. I need to wrap it up at this point. We've got a quarter of an hour overtime. And I'll check those Facebook comments and select a couple of winners in addition to the main winner. Thank you guys very much for joining me. Not only you guys, but the guys at home as well. Oh, I'm frozen.
You're frozen, and I can't hear Chris.
Sorry, I was talking to the kiddo off screen. That turned my mic off.
I am experimenting now with the sleep headband.
Do you remember the last ones we tried out?
They were awful. Yeah.
Yeah, they were horrible. I may have to get some of those.
The double out. Yeah, this is good, dude. I mean, it feels like a decent material.
Looks very 80s, like you're getting ready to do some jazzercise.
Yeah, no, like it would actually be sweet if I'm sure the sound is not good, but I just listen like to audiobooks. Like it's nice to. I mean, dude, if you a lot of people like have trouble sleeping at night. Like, dude, just listen to a boring audiobook that you want to listen to, but like can't ever make yourself. You'll fall asleep. Like, and if you don't, you need to go to a doctor. Something's wrong.
Every now and again, I'll get like a migraine in the middle of the day, and it's hard for me to take a nap. I flip on Brain FM, the sleep one. Oh man, I'm out.
That's good too. And then also the problem I have is that like there's one of these. We'll wait till Alex comes back. There's one of these that shuts off. It knows when you're asleep and it turns it off, which is awesome.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah. I was excited. I didn't get that one. This one was $100.
Were those a Facebook ad purchase, or did something you were looking for?
Yeah. Everything I own came from Facebook. Like I am the avatar for like 80 different companies.
Yeah.
I'm what you call a hyperactive buyer. Alex has cam problems. It's not good for his side business as
a cam girl,
cam model. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, but we can wrap it up.
Okay, he's telling us to get off here.
Well, I'm not done talking about it. So the speakers are right here. Lightweight material. I'll give you guys the full review later. Chris, I might do these as a giveaway or something here soon.
Nice. Yeah. No, nice. You shoot me a link. I want a pair because I'd love to listen to more audiobooks at bedtime.
Nice. Yeah, he says that he can still play the outro. So Alex, hit us with the outro. Oh, if you timed it up.